Hello everyone, and welcome back to session 4 of the 6-week program on understanding your anxiety, peeling back those layers of anxiety, creating a new identity and getting out of that identity of being an anxious person and being stuck there and feeling like change isn't possible, because it is possible. And this program will be the first steps for you to be able to peel back those layers, understand your anxiety better, look at your anxiety differently, and have better tools and techniques for coping with anxiety and minimizing your anxiety. So if this is the first video you're watching, make sure you go back and watch session 1, 2, and 3 so this makes more sense. So session 1 was about looking at what causes your anxiety and the different types of anxiety. Session 2 was about how you'd rather your life be compared to where it currently is, and how to start taking action towards creating that and how it actually is possible. And session 3 was about your 5-year vision, and based on your 5-year vision, what goals you can bring to life and create to help you step into that 5-year vision and create that 5-year vision. Because a goal without a plan is just a wish. And it's like, you might think that goal setting is not important, but it really is, because you can't achieve your goals and get to your or achieve the life of your dreams without having action to get there. It would be the same as driving blindfolded. It's going to be very unlikely that you get to where you want to go when driving if you were driving blindfolded. So it's the same sort of principle. And today is all about habits. So how habits are formed, and looking into some negative ones you might have, and looking into creating some new powerful ones. So habits are routines or rituals that are formed, and these habits and rituals start to form our identity, and they shape how we show up. And our habits are usually unconscious, because we do them that much, we repeat them so often to the point they become unconscious, and we start doing them without even knowing we're doing it. And that's what makes them so hard to break, because they're just automatic. They become second nature. So a habit is a practice you repeat so regularly that it's hard to change. And it could be biting your nails when you're worried. It could be picking up a bottle of wine whenever you pass the liquor store. It could be cracking open a big bag of chips or watching TV at the end of the day. It might even be jiggling your leg while on a flight. It could be licking your lips when you're forced to do public speaking. And it's also really important to look at where habits come from. And your sensory nervous system is always monitoring for actions you can take that will give you that hit of a dopamine, which is your brain's reward chemical. And it's wired out to seek pleasure. So that is why your brain and your subconscious mind create these habits. It creates a habit that's going to give you some sort of pleasure and give you some type of dopamine hit. And this is why habits can be negative, yet you still do them, because you get that positive outcome of that dopamine hit and that pleasure hit. For example, a big one for me was overeating. And yes, it gave me pleasure, it gave me happiness, it gave me joy, despite being an unhealthy habit of it was the only thing that made me happy and gave me pleasure, right? And caused me to gain weight, and overeating is never good, right? But it gave me that dopamine hit. So it was a negative habit, but I was doing it because I was getting a reward from it. Because all habits, even the negative ones, are giving us something. If they weren't giving us anything, then we wouldn't be doing them. So any habit that we develop, it's because our brain is designed to pick up on things that will reward us and things that will punish us. When your brain recognizes a pattern, such as a connection between action and satisfaction, it files that information away neatly in an area of your brain. This is also where we develop emotions and memories, but it's not where the conscious decisions are made. That's the prefrontal cortex, where the decisions are made. This may be why habits are so hard to break. They come from a part of the brain region that's out of our conscious control. So you're barely aware you're doing them, if you're doing them at all. Like, for example, I used to rub my leg, and I never even was aware that I was doing that until my sister noticed it and brought it up. So that goes to show you're not even aware you're doing it. It's so unconscious and just happens. And in the early days of humankind, this was very beneficial, because the reward center of our brains was a survival tool. that was helped us seek out things we needed to survive, like comfort and calories, and to avoid discomfort. But in the modern world, through the constant search for feel-good experiences can drive us into more unhelpful directions. Just because something feels good in the moment doesn't mean it's good for our long-term happiness, health, longevity, social relationships, or mental wellness, such as overeating. It feels good in the moment, but then I feel so freaking shit about it afterwards. And just because something's uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's dangerous. Just like our ancestors, our brains chase that dopamine high. So when a behavior comes along that results in a reward, the brain builds a connection between the behavior and the pleasure, and this makes it very hard to shake. This linking is a cue to an action and a reward, and that is how the habit is born. So you have a cue, and that cue gives you the cue. That cue creates the action, and then you do the action, and then you get a reward from that action. So habits are actions. They're an action that you do, and there's a cue that causes you to do that action, which could be a time of day, an activity, or a location. And they cultivate a feel-good reward. Through repetition, this connection gets bigger and bigger and serves the brain and makes that habit stronger and stronger. So, for example, a cue could be feeling overwhelmed and stressed. A craving could be a break from work to feel better. Your response could be watching TV shows and eating junk food and drinking hot chocolate. And the reward would be pleasure and distraction from the overwhelm and stress. So this reinforces the unwanted habit of overeating and not getting work done. So can you notice that feeling overwhelmed and stressed is a cue? It's a cue that's happening. It's giving you a cue to do something. And it's cueing you to, crave whatever's going to give you that dopamine hit, which is the response of eating junk food and watching TV. So I'd love for you to let me know what comes up for you when you think about this. Can you notice any cues that you have that make you do a certain behavior, that make you have a certain response, and that make and give you some type of reward? Let me know what comes up for you there. I'd love for you to jot down in the comments if you have any questions, what your habits are, or maybe you know a habit you do, but you don't know what the cue is. Maybe it just happens automatically. Let me know what comes up for you there. And can you see what habits of yours are positive and what habits of yours are negative? And out of the negative ones, can you notice what those negative habits give you? What's the reward of those negative habits? And once you know what the reward is, how can you get that same reward in a more healthier habit? Really take your time here to think about this, digest this, pause this video to dive deep, and take as long as you need. So, for example, my negative habit of watching too much TV and overeating gave me pleasure and distraction, and it was more easy to remove this habit if I had another habit that was more healthier, but also gives me pleasure and distraction. And what I found to be helpful here was movement. Movement makes me feel good, or an audiobook or reading a book makes me feel good. Or if I still want to go for that food perspective, a healthier snack or drink. And this is something I did implement. I started having nuts as an afternoon snack because they were healthier, and I started having a hot cocoa instead of regular hot chocolate or like Malo, for example. But sometimes this isn't enough. Sometimes you can do your best to, find out what a negative habit's giving you and see if you can get that same thing in a new habit, in a new healthy habit. Sometimes your habits are so strong that they keep coming back no matter what. No matter how hard your conscious mind tries to change them, they keep coming back because they're very strong habits formed in your subconscious mind and your conscious mind because you've been doing it for a very, very long time. So this is where timeline therapy can help. And timeline therapy works by talking to your unconscious or subconscious mind and getting you to come up with resolution as to why you do the things that you do and what causes you to act the way that you do, and to look at things differently. So get to the root cause of why you act the way you do, what's holding you back, what causes you to have those habits, what negative emotions are holding you back and limiting beliefs are holding you back, and helps you to rewire those programs so then you can create new empowering beliefs and new empowering habits. A lot of the time, this work cannot be enough alone because your subconscious mind will always run the show. So it's a good starting point, but if it's not enough, that's when it's really powerful to do the subconscious mind work. So if any of you interested in learning more about the subconscious mind work, right, comment below subconscious mind work and I'll be more than happy to help, to even give you a free session to kind of dive deep in how it works, how it can help you, and to help you see that you can get changes in as little as one session. Rather than spending years and years trying to consciously change a habit and get nowhere, you can get changes in as little as one session. Or rather than just doing talk therapy and taking years and years and years to get anywhere there either. So I'd love for you to also, comment below what you plan to do from now on. What habit would you like to remove and what habit would you like to create? And the habit you like to remove, what was that habit giving you? And what new habit is going to give you that same response? So overall, this session was about how habits are formed, why we form habits, and the certain parts that go into forming a habit. Like you've got the cue, then you've got the craving, then you've got the response, and then you've got the reward. And it's about realizing what that negative habit is giving you so you can therefore get that same response in a new powerful habit. So if you'd like to learn more, feel free to watch the other videos. If you haven't, comment below if you want to learn more as well. And if you're interested in learning how the subconscious mind work can help you take this to another level, then as mentioned, comment below subconscious mind. And I will see you for the next video. Bye for now.